Oh, hi. Welcome back to Unstable Creatures podcast with me, Selena. Today's guest is a 25-year firefighter and paramedic, a local comedian. He runs shows at Pineapples in O'Galley. Super funny dude, down to earth, a dad, killer comic. He is amazing. We love him so much. We talk about mental health. We talk about being a father. We talk about comedy. We talk about working in the firefighter fields, paramedic, crazy shit. It's a great episode, awesome, emotional, raw, and I love that. So today's guest is ERIC ERLACHER.
I got chicken, ducks, and roosters on the farm. I'm just beating back with Susan the alarm. Johnny ate the grass, he's moving on the bong. Gypsy blisters never sing for long. I hope I'm not wrong, I hope I'm not wrong. I hope I'm not wrong, I hope I'm not wrong. I hope I'm not wrong, I hope I'm not wrong. I hope I'm not wrong, I hope I'm not wrong.
Bachelor's of Nursing.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, I got my bachelor's in nursing. I did that.
Okay.
I could always do that. I don't want to really do it. I don't want to do patient care anymore.
Yeah.
But ideally, if things go this way with Weedline, I'd be able to step up, do it full time, and comedy full time. So,
that'll be good.
Yeah.
2 years, that'll go by fast. So that's like just when you're retiring from the fire department, and then you can still like work, or you can still do whatever you want.
Yeah, I figure I'll do whatever the fuck I want at that point.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
And how old are you? 73?
I'm old as fuck, man.
Right.
Old as fuck, dude.
Yeah, 2 years. That's so crazy. So you've been in the fire department for 25 years though, right?
I started in 99.
Wow. So yeah, 20, 25 going on
So you
26.
do the math, yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Does it feel like it's been that long?
You know how life is, man. And in retrospect, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, 20 years ago was yesterday.
The body pain.
But it's still 20 years ago. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
God damn, man.
How do you feel like it has the fire department changed from like over those 25 years? Like, how do you feel like it's changed?
Night and day.
Really?
Like, when I first started, I started in Seminole County, and that was in 99. And
Is that like Orlando? Kiss me?
so, like, Altamont,
Oh, okay.
Sanford,
Okay.
up
Gotcha.
in there, yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, we didn't run as many calls, and now, and when we did run calls, like, they were pretty legitimate.
Okay.
The amount of bullshit calls was very low. Now we run so many bullshit calls.
Really?
And tons of them. Yeah.
That's interesting. So
Yeah.
you feel like back then people called 911 and like called the fire department for real serious issues, and now it's like
Yeah. And,
people are just a little.
and I nerd out on that shit, and I think it's a microcosm of society as a whole. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't have health care and you don't have money, you can't afford
Yeah.
things. 911, your fucking tooth hurts. That shit hurts.
Yeah.
You want it fixed. And
Yeah.
911 may be your only option, or, and so I don't fault people. And that's just kind of where society is, that for a lot of people, 911 is their only access to healthcare.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
and
Something I've always like wondered about too, like that's something that's really interesting is that like you guys aren't mental health professionals, right? So like police officers and firefighters are not mental health people,
Not at
but
all.
you get pulled into that world so much. Like if someone calls for like a domestic violence case, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
police officers and firefighters sometimes are the ones that have to like mediate what's going on. Do you
Yeah.
feel like that's like difficult to do?
Yeah, very much. Anxiety calls are hard. Like, fucking kill me, bro. Because it's like, bro, all right, now you got 5 of us.
Right.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
I don't have an anxiety box.
Yeah.
But I do have compassion, and I try to be. It's not going to go well if I come in and I'm an asshole and kind of berate you.
Right.
So I'm going to be like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? I'm trying to be nice to you. And
Yeah.
then, like, hey, all right, you're anxious. Let's try some box breathing. Let's try some,
Yeah.
just that's what I aim for. But if I don't want to come in and make it worse. And
Yeah.
a lot of times, especially if I'm on the ambulance and I don't want to have to take you to the fucking hospital just because you're having a panic attack.
Right,
like,
right.
Hey, Selena, let's talk for a minute.
Yeah. No, one time I literally had a friend who had a panic attack and she wanted me to call 911, and I begged her not to, because I'm like, this is so embarrassing. Like,
Yeah.
they don't want to come here and deal with your anxiety attack. I was like begging her not to make me call 911. And we were like driving, and she was like full blown, like her fingertips were going numb, and she was like feeling like she was about to pass out from her anxiety attack. And I'm like, fuck, okay, fine, I'll call them. We like literally pull over off of Wickham, and all these like firefighters come, and there's like 6 of them. They get out and they're like as soon as they pull up, she's like, oh, I'm starting to feel better now. And I'm like, well, you better pass the fuck out, act like something's wrong. And so then they like come and they're like, you know, just asking her if she's okay. And it was just like, you could tell they were like pissed off. You know what I mean? Like just annoyed. Because it's like, oh, this, you know, 20-year-old idiot.
Because there's nothing we can really do.
Yeah. And they're just like, well, what do you want us to do? And she's like, nothing. And it's like, oh, it's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So you work with like the police a lot.
A lot. And then, so you were talking about domestics. Like domestics are hard. Because I kind of had some domestic stuff as a kid with my parents. So
oh, God.
Domestics are kind of sad and triggering.
Of course.
To me. Shit, we had one day. It was maybe like 4 a.m. I don't remember all the details, but it was so domestic. It just unfolded, and the chick didn't necessarily want to go to the hospital.
Yeah,
and it was just a lot going on. It was just a lot of crying and chaos. And I remember there was like a 3-year-old sitting on the couch, like watching Elsa, and I'm like, I remember my daughter sitting there watching fucking Frozen. You know, and
that's the worst.
You got that playing out in the living room, and you got the domestic in the back room, and like it kind of reminded me of shit I went through as a kid.
Yeah,
and then we ended up having to take her to the hospital. I was on the ambulance to rescue that day.
Yeah,
they're ambulances to everyone, but in the fire department, we're rescues.
Right, you're saving the damsel in distress. Yeah.
So I was on the rescue, and I remember I was backing us out of this apartment complex, and my buddy that was on the engine that day, the fire engine, because we sent an engine and a rescue calls. Engine usually has 4 firemen, and a rescue has 2 firefighter paramedics.
Okay.
And we're backing out of the complex, and my coworker's back there backing me so I don't hit shit. And he said, I couldn't see him because it was dark and he was in a blind spot. And I'm like, hey man, and he said something smart ass to me, and it fucking just, it hit me. Yeah. And then I took that patient to the hospital, and we get back to the station. It's probably like 7.
Not the firefighter. Sirens going off. Is everything okay?
So we get back to the station. It's like 7:45 in the morning. We leave at 8 a.m. And I'm like, hey, man, it's almost fucking 8 o'clock. You had some shit to say?
Yeah.
I was like, well, I can fucking stick around an extra 5 minutes.
Catch me outside.
I was like, seriously, I was like, we can have this fucking conversation in the parking lot. Oh, bro, and he and I were fucking going at it, and the new firemen are coming in that relieve us for the day, like B shifts coming in, and I'm like, all right, go across the fucking street. I'm like, damn, we're about to kill each other.
No way.
But what it was for me, he smarted off at a wrong time. Yeah. And that fucking hit me wrong. And I'm just coming out of this fucking domestic where I'm kind of like, I think probably subconsciously riled the fuck up.
Well, because like you said, it's like triggering for you. So it like was obviously creating a lot of like stimulation, and you couldn't really do anything. Because that's like another thing too, that it's always so crazy. People that have your kinds of jobs, it's such an insane concept how like you have to see these things and then also live like a super normal life. Yeah. That always is so insane to me, especially from your perspective, because you're a comedian. So it's like, I see a bunch of really sad, horrible, awful, traumatic things. Yeah. But then on my outside life, I also like have to make people laugh and like try to make humor out of something that's like not funny. You know what I mean? So it's like that dichotomy has to be interesting.
Well, I think the dichotomy has always been there, because you've heard of the term gallows humor. Like, we say some fucked up jokes. Yeah. So I think that's how we do deal with it.
Yeah. You know I mean, dark humor, honestly, you kind of have to. Yeah, that's crazy.
I even tried to write a joke. It's actually unpacking pretty well, but my PTS Disney joke.
Yeah.
And that joke was written because there's been many times I've come home from work and I'm eating fucking breakfast. Yeah. This is like, how was your work last night? I'm like, I had a guy literally folded in half on his motorcycle. And she's like, what? And you're just eating fucking oatmeal? I'm like, I mean, I got it. Like, so
strawberries and cream.
So you gotta carry like, you do see some weird shit. My daughter probably pays the hardest for it though, because when she was a kid, like, to normal people, the kid's climbing a tree. To me, I'm like, that's injuries from a long fall over 6 feet. We probably have to fly her out. Hey, get out of the tree.
100%. You're like always having to like monitor you're always looking at safety hazards, obviously, and like all of that. And I feel like whenever she gets to be like older, it's going to be a nightmare, because you're like, hey, so don't drive a vehicle. Also don't walk. So don't ride a bike. Like don't do anything. Stay inside. My dad was the same way. Like he was a police officer in the Air Force. Really? Okay. So he, was always like, he's like an interesting person though, because he's like, you need to learn from your mistakes. Because, I went to jail multiple times. So like my dad he didn't have any sympathy for it. He was like, the reason why there's jail and like prison and a criminal system is for people to learn their lesson. So like, he was like, I want you to go through these things because you deserve it. But also like, this is real shit consequences and it isn't a joke. You know what I mean? Like, none of this shit's funny. Like DUIs aren't funny. Drinking and driving is not funny. Like motorcycle accidents aren't funny. People texting and driving isn't funny. Like child abuse isn't funny. You know what I mean? Like all those things that people see. And my aunt, she's a social worker, which you probably, you know, the old guys are all in the same kind of realm of things. And you see all the worst shit about the world. And I can't, it's tough. Like that really takes a special kind of person because she sees like awful situations and things. And it's like, so how do you feel like you like upkeep with your mental health? Like, do you do things actively?
I'm a weirdo, you know.
Besides just do comedy?
I'm trying to get better with like writing jokes on it and stuff, but like I am an overthinker. I think that living in my head's probably part of comedy. You know, because I'm always just thinking in my head, thinking funny shit or thinking shit. But like you were just talking about your dad, you know, saying, hey, you know, you got to learn your lessons in life. One of the things I've realized with my daughter, I had an epiphany one day that love is loss. Like anything you love, you're going to lose it. And whether it's your first dog, your grandma, you're going to lose it. Love is loss. And that's the biggest thing I've come to with my daughter is like, I'm losing a little bit of her. How do you say? I'm a bitch.
No.
I'm losing a little bit of her each day. God, dude.
It's okay, Eric. It's okay. You remind me so much of my dad. But she's 14, right?
Yeah,
14.
But you gotta let it go, man. You gotta understand that and it's gotta do its thing, you know.
Yeah, that's tough. I really couldn't imagine like having to be, because I know how I was whenever I was like 13, 14, 15, 16. And God, my parents literally cried every day.
That
like
fucking sweat. That's a sweat tear.
My dad, like, I mean, he would just like go in the shower and cry. And my mom too. Like, and I didn't know that because I'm just a fucking ornery idiot teenager. I hate my parents. I'm gonna pop an Adderall and go to my shift at Zaxby's if I want to. You know what I mean? Like just a heathen, like sneaking out, texting boys, like I mean just the whole thing, like being super rebellious. And like my parents sacrificed so much for me. They love me so much. And like they were losing me every single day, like just a little bit of me. Like I stopped relying on them. I stopped thinking that they were smart. You know what I mean? And it's like, that has to be, it's heartbreaking, honestly. Like, it's like you're grieving your child, you know?
One of the weird things I think the fire service is maybe kind of a bitch to a degree. Like so for like today, Harlan, she's like, oh, Dad, I saw a TikTok on a girl that had a seizure and died. And then she's God, why did I even fucking say this? She goes, oh yeah, her mom goes, I can't look at her. I didn't want to look at her at the funeral. And I started crying. She's like, you're such a bitch, Dad. And I'm like, hey, I've seen that. I fucking have witnessed that first person.
No, literally, kids are the fucking.
But she don't know. That's her being.
You're funny.
Yeah, she's like, oh, but she doesn't understand. I've seen that in real life. 100%. I've seen I've had to tell someone their kid's not coming back.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Oh, God, not trained in that. You know? That's
so insane too. It's like, that's what I was kind of going to, like the mental health part of it is like, you guys are so like, not only is people's lives in y'all's hands and people are relying on you for like public safety, but also like you guys have to bear so much mental emotions, you know, like if you're trying to, you know, revive someone's child and it didn't happen. And now you have to like be a caretaker and be that person that delivers the news. And it's like, you guys are hit from all angles of like,
we're not trained in it, man. Like,
no.
So, do you know have you ever heard the difference between like sympathy and empathy?
Yes. Yeah.
So empathy, I do believe once you experience things, you can have it.
Yes.
You're like, oh, dude.
Yeah.
And sympathy,
I'm an extremely empathetic person. I'm like an empath. I'm a crippling empath. Like,
same.
It's bad. Yeah. It's bad. And sympathy is like more so you feel for the other person, but not like you understand.
Yeah. Empathy is like, You absorb it, you feel it.
Yeah, 100%. And you kind of have to play both roles. Like, and if you're an empath, I mean, because I know that you're an empath, you definitely are. You exude the, an empath person. So that has to be tough for you. Like,
you don't
not carrying that stuff around all the time.
Dude, I was in a bar, Key West bar last night. And
Oh God.
Bro. It's right close to my house.
Yeah.
It's too close to my house.
I got banned from there once.
They don't know.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Dude, so I'm sitting there talking to this guy. He was a veteran for 13 years, younger than me, and he started fucking going down, like talking about how he had I was like, oh shit. And Melissa trying to talk to me. I'm like, hold on, man. This guy's fucking having a real moment.
Yeah.
But I was telling him, I'm like, look, man, I deal with some shit too. Like, and I use my gopher analogy. Like, do you deal with depression at all?
Terribly.
So you know the fucking commercials. Oh, if you're feeling dead, reach out and call. No, dude, when I'm in a hole, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And then when I'm out of the hole, during the sunshine, and I don't want to fucking talk about it. I'm like, no, dude, I don't. That's old shit.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm good, bro. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to.
Yeah.
And then what I've learned is that through these kind of conversations, I'm a gopher. I go into holes. I come out. And it's nice to know that, oh shit, I'm not the only gopher that goes into holes.
Right.
And that's what I told this guy. I'm like, bro, you're not alone. A lot of people go into these dark holes. The key is to know that you're a gopher and you're going to come back out of the hole and that there's other people. Like just say to yourself when you're in the hole, all right, I'll be out in a couple days. Definitely.
I think through my depression, I don't think it's weird because I don't get depressed as in I just want to be alone in my room. I think it's more because if I do that, then it's like,
same. I don't get that.
I'll actually jump off of Pineda Bridge if I do that. So I think for my depression, it's very I go through a severe identity crisis. Whenever I get really depressed, I don't know what I like anymore. I don't want to do anything. I hate all my friends. I hate my family. I hate every hobby. I hate where I live. I hate my fucking dog. I'm just I hate everything. Nothing feels right. And I just kind of feel numb almost. That's what my depression looks like. It's very numbing. I don't care about how people feel. I can't, if I wanted to cry or be sad, I can't. It's not sadness. It's just numb, nothing. It's almost like TV static is all my emotions. Is that I just kind of I don't want to do comedy. I don't want to cook. I don't want to get up. I don't want to watch anything on TV. Nothing sounds entertaining. And it's just kind of and then I'll go through that. But I have bipolar disorder. So I got diagnosed with bipolar and BPD several years ago. And once I got that diagnosis and realized it's not depression, it's not anxiety, it's not OCD, you don't have insomnia, you don't have ADHD, you're not autistic, thank God, I couldn't imagine. You don't have all these things. It's just instability.
It's highs and lows, right?
It's highs and lows. So then I just realized it's the epitome of the gopher thing. It's I'm here and then I'm here and then I'm here. And that could be minutes, days, hours, weeks. It just depends on what I'm going through and things sometimes trigger it and sometimes don't. Sometimes it's literally just out of nowhere. I don't get into a depression where I don't want to leave the house. Mine will be I just get sad and start overthinking and ruminating on shit. Yeah. And then, just that whole love of loss analogy. I'll just, this is sad, and I get super sad, Yeah. But, I come out of it. But one time I went, it was funny when I was in nursing school, I was trying to get Adderall. Yeah. So, I'm fucking. I'm going to get it the professional way.
I'm smarter than doctors, so I went straight to a psychologist. I didn't go to my general practitioner, which is where I should have fucking went. And literally within 2 minutes, she's like, oh, you're PTSD. I'm like, what? I'm like, I filled out 100 question survey. It was literally a 100 question survey.
I Googled what I was supposed to put so you would give me the good stuff.
Oh, it was the questions were do you feel like you're better? Everything was yes, no. Do you feel like you're better than everybody? I put a dot in the middle. Mind you, there's no spot for a dot in the middle. It's yes or no. Dot in the middle. Are you hypersexual? Dot in the middle. Do you think people are stupid? Dot in the middle. So anyway, we sit down.
Yours should have been yes.
She's like, what's with the dots in the middle? I'm like, these aren't yes or no fucking questions. Right. I'm like, there's days where I feel like I am fucking better than everybody. But I know I'm not. There's days where I fucking, I want to fuck everything I see, but I don't. Yeah. I'm like, how do I don't know. None of these are fucking yes, no questions. And she's like, you're PTSD, ADD, and OCD. And I'm like, where'd you get the PTSD from? And I remember leaving the office and I think she gave me Zoloft or Lexapro.
Okay.
And she's like, she hit me right in the feels. She's
Yeah.
like, you take it. And don't see how you feel. See how your wife feels.
I know both of those women. They're bitches. I know Lexapro and Zoloft. They're cunts.
I took it for 3 weeks and I hated it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get mad.
Yeah.
I didn't get happy. I didn't give a shit. I like to fuck with my plants outside and my palms and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, they're fine.
Yeah.
If I didn't go to the gym for the day, I'm like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck this shit. So I've learned to enjoy the highs and lows.
Yeah.
The highs and lows are fucking how we feel. You know?
Yeah, that's the curse of getting help for mental ailments or illnesses, whatever you want to call it, is that because I was on medication for a long time and I was on Zoloft, Lexapro, Prozac, I mean, everything under the sun, Cymbalta, Ambien, like I was on so many different medications because I was so young and doctors were trying to figure out like, what is it that she's dealing with? And so then by the end of it, I was like, you know what? Like I was on Wellbutrin, I cut it cold turkey, tried to kill myself. It was terrible.
Oh, man.
And so then I was like, I'm not going to do any medications anymore. Like, I'm just going to try to deal with what I have raw. Like, talk to people, therapy, whatever it needs to be. Find the medium to help me deal with it because I don't want to be like that. I want to feel the highs and lows because that's who I am. Like
that's what gives. I think that's what gives us the art.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't want to be fucking normal. That's disgusting. Like that sounds terrible. I don't want to make wise decisions. That's crazy. Like so it's like you almost start to enjoy. It's not that you enjoy it, but you start to understand that the manic depression waves of constant, up and down helps you be who you are because it is who you are. It's not all of you, but it's a part of your personality. And so like I didn't like the numbness either, and I go through that still. It's disassociation is really what it is. Like,
disassociation.
Oh my god,
that was
so
one of the
bad.
things that led me like when I ended up going back and talking to her, and I was like, look, there's been many times where I feel like I'm watching my life.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like Christmas days and shit. I'm like, I feel like I'm in a movie watching my life, and I know that's disassociation.
Yes.
And I'm like, fuck, man. And that disassociation is one of the hardest things to deal with.
Oh my God, it's terrible because there's literally nothing you can do.
You can't, dude.
Nothing.
You don't feel connected.
Yes.
And then you feel like you're robbing people.
Yes.
You're supposed to, those are the hardest.
I remember the first time I got tested for BPD. I went to go see a specialist, and it was a doctor I'd never seen before. I was like, it's been a couple years. I want to get a new opinion because I know that there is something wrong with me that is, I can't describe it. And no other doctor has been able to help me. So I went to go to see a specialist, and they gave me like this 20 questionnaire, very similar, but every question was like really specific to BPD at the time, but I didn't know that yet. And so I'm answering all these questions. I'm like, how are they knowing to ask these things so specifically? Like, do you ever feel numb? Yes. Is the numbness as in you don't feel any feelings? Yes. Do you have trouble crying? Yes. Do you feel like you're watching your life? Yes. Do you feel like someone else is living your life and it's not you? Yes. Like very specific questions to BPD, especially with like attachment. Like if I feel like someone didn't text me back, I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? Did they hate me?
Yeah.
I need to call them. What's happening? The anxious attachment styles. And I was so eye-opening to me because that was the first time I was explained disassociation and what it is. And like, I went through a couple traumatic things. Like the first time I got arrested was really traumatic for me. I blacked out, like complete robot. Nothing fazed me. I didn't care. Like, and so that was disassociation. And I didn't know at the time. I was just like, why am I not like scared? Why am I not crying? Why is nothing happening? I just feel like nothing. Like it's so insane and hard to describe to people, but it's so real.
I was thinking about this last night. Like, one of the hardest things about mental health is like going when you see a counselor. I already got trust issues. I don't fuck with like how the fuck do I know she's good? Too. I don't know. How do I know she's fucking good? And then like you already kind of think, a lot of us think we self-diagnose, we self-treat. So now I'm like, no, I know what my shit is. I don't need to go talk to her. And so that I think it becomes like a fucking vicious
I know.
circle,
The first therapist I ever had, she was like my therapist for a couple years, and then she was going to a different office, right? So like she has to tell everyone, hey, like, we're only probably going to have like 1 or 2 more visits, and then I'm going to go to a different place. And I was like, you literally know that I have abandonment issues, and you're doing this at the worst time in my life. I think I'm going to end it all. Like, so I can't do this. And so like, disassociation is I disassociate on stage constantly. Do you do that?
I don't know that I diссociate.
I'm gone.
I'm not. I wish I could be more connected. You know? Like we see some of our friends, like dude, like some of them they're really connected. They're just.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, somebody dropped a French fry. They're like a fucking seagull. They're like, oh, there's a fry. I don't see that shit. Dude.
Yeah.
I don't see that
It depends on the day because there are times where I'm super connected and I'm very in it. And those are definitely my better sets for sure. But there are also times where I just like disassociate completely. And it's always like whenever it's like a bigger show, there's a lot more people. And I think it's probably a form of stage fright. I don't know. But I completely disassociate.
Oh, so
and I'm like, I don't even know where I'm at right now. Like everything I'm saying is a lie, honestly.
That's where like, oh, fucker, I feel so bad. I'm all over the place sometimes when I talk. So this I was talking about that counselor, like, well, I heard I got trust issues. I think I'm smarter than him.
Yeah.
Once I got into nursing school and I had to take a bunch of psychology classes and then I had to literally do psych rotations at psych facilities and I became intimate with the DSM-5 manual. That's how they what they use to clinically diagnose. You got to write up shit on it. But moral of the story is that psychology is very interesting. Like there's something you're like, oh, this is a symptom. This is a symptom. Like with fire department, like I've had some fucking gnarly calls. Like I literally no bullshit where I've stood there in the middle of the day and been like, did Universal Studios come out here and fucking set it? Like,
oh my God, really?
Like I'm like, are we on TV? Is this being set up like this?
Because it's so crazy?
It's so crazy.
Like what do they do? Stuff they do in their house?
No, just, some car accidents. Where like, and I'm like, this, and that, they call it disassociation because there I am, I'm not thinking it's real. And so symptomatically that's called disassociation. Or we could flip the script and say, no, that's how I do my job.
Yeah.
That's what allows me to do my job. When I see this, I'm like, oh, this doesn't look real to me. Yeah. Because if I got
because your brain doesn't want it to be. Yeah. Partially, I'm sure.
Yeah. Is it a symptom or is it a preservation thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah, because I think for that type of stuff, our brain protects us from so many things.
That's what I think it is.
And it really does, like, you disassociate in the times that you need to because it's, like, trying to not allow you to feel the feelings so you don't freak out or, like, have a panic attack or something like that.
So this is the interesting about that call was it was gnarly. And I remember, like I said, I was like, fuck, did you never, are we not being filmed? Is this a
and they're like, Eric, it's actually not funny.
But there was a nurse there that pulled over to assist, and she was with one of the people that had passed, and she was sitting, and she was like, "Hey, I'm a nurse," and I came over and I covered the body on the road, and one of the guys like, "Hey, man, you're not supposed to do that." I'm like, "I don't give a fuck," because it's a crime scene. I'm like, it's 4:30 on a Friday afternoon, downtown Orlando on the interstate. No one needs to see this. Yeah. I'm covering the fucking body. And then, but the nurse was sitting there with this lady and she's like, I just didn't want her to go alone. So I went over, I'm able to deal with this call, the grossness of it. But the empath in me, I felt so bad for that nurse who was there with that lady. And I went over and I'm literally standing in the 408, the interstate, downtown Orlando, hugging a lady in fucking rush hour traffic because I felt bad for her.
And you're like, I got blind line at 8 o'clock tonight.
But the empath in me, I felt bad for the human, that was feeling that she felt.
He's like, listen, I got to get a chronic guru here. I got to go.
Yeah. I got a dick joke I got to fucking get out. Oh my
God, that's so crazy. I literally can't even wrap my head around that. Like, because, like I said, there's people that have those kinds of jobs and have like very normal lives. In comedy in particular, do you feel like there's people like that you've worked with that like tapped out, like they couldn't handle it, or have you had like coworkers have a panic attack during something?
I've never seen it.
Okay,
I do. We do have guys that have left due to PTSD, and it's now more in the forefront. And anytime you get laws and money involved and stuff, it kind of fucks it. Firemen are able to pension out on PTSD. Yeah, and it's a pro, but it's a con because then you get the people that fake it, and even the ones that legitimately have it. It's so subjective. Yeah, it just screws it. But where I'm going with this is the fire service is an interesting thing. Yeah, you can pension out with full retirement with PTSD issues, but we need to learn how to reduce the stressors in the fire service. And so we can successfully deal with those without pensioning out. Because I think we're kind of doing a disservice to a degree. We're not the only industry that sees sad shit. Yeah. Like pediatric oncologists, like cancer nurses with kids, bro, fuck that.
Yeah.
That's some sad shit. Pediatric doctors, like they don't pension out.
Right. Yeah, they do that for life. Like literally
Right.
they do
like
that shit
I
for
couldn't
life.
work in a cancer ward with kids.
Yeah.
Bro,
Because it's like, it's not just like you or like some calls are, you know, okay and
Yeah.
other ones are bad. This is like
They form
you're around
relationships
sadness
with
all day.
Have you ever met one though? Like I would imagine you have.
I have. I've met
Some of them are built for that shit.
some are.
Yeah, like,
Nurses?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Just like specifically like end of life nursing. Because I used to like before.
And they're so positive. They're like the most positive people.
I used to swear about dogs. I was like working at a shelter, and there's like these old ladies that like take dying cats and dying dogs, and they're end of life fosters, and they like they don't even have animals because they don't want to commit, but like they'll take a dog that has liver disease or whatever and let it die in their house instead of dying in a cold kennel. So like, and I remember being 18 and being like, these fucking ladies are fucking
Nuts.
they're
Yeah.
fucking hardcore. Like they just they're like, I'm coming to pick up the oldest deadly gangliest dog. Like that's crazy.
Oh, man.
You know?
Yeah.
And then they would just take them home and like let them die. And then you think about it, it's like, oh fuck, people do that with people.
Yeah, hospice
Oh, yeah.
is just like that.
Oh, hospice
Yeah.
nurses, dude, they're special humans, man.
Yeah.
And dude,
They
the
are.
things, like some of them are what you're talking about with the fire department, where it like beats them down and it takes them a long time, and maybe they do deserve to be pensioned out. But bro, I'm telling you right now, I've met a fucking hospice nurse that doesn't make her day. It makes her feel better.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm so glad that I get to be the person that's right next to them when they're on their.
Because that's how they, they really feel that way.
It doesn't give them PTSD at all. They're like, I have somebody like me when I'm dying. You know?
Yeah.
PTSD, there's so much focus on what's called PTSD is typically acute. Like let's say an airplane crash. You go to that. That's a one massive incident.
Yeah.
What they're finding now, and what's my issue is what's called CPSD, is like chronic or complex post-traumatic stress disorder, where it's long-term cumulative. Like sometimes I'll be driving and I'll see like a fucking cross on the road, and that'll make me sad and I'll cry. The empathy comes through, like that's long-term damage. I don't have any one specific call that haunts me.
Well, I think anybody who's been through a traumatic event, and I don't mean to like put myself there because I'm not a fireman, and I have an uncle who's a fireman, been a lieutenant, and has seen fucking shit. But I was involved in a vehicle versus pedestrian when I was 18.
That's a horrible thing to see.
Bro, like it's a movie that lives in my head that I'll never like. And I've told people the story, and like it really made me understand how many people have not been through that. Like almost everyone in their life has been in a car accident. Almost everyone in their life has lost a cell phone. There's some things in your life that like suck and like we can all share. Hitting somebody who's walking across the street
you can't know
45 miles an hour, watching them do the death gurgle and wondering if you killed them. Like that's something that not a lot of human beings have been through. So like I totally understand like that complex thing, because like I've only done that one time, and that shit lives in I drive down the road, and if you can ask her, like if somebody's walking in the shoulder, I'm like, oh fuck, dude, like I get freaked out at people. And so like I can only imagine seeing that shit over and over.
Yeah, because yours is like, it's just, you know, a cumulative thing over time.
So what's neat about nursing as opposed to the fire service, like you start off as a fireman. If you promote, you go to an engineer. That's the guy that drives the truck. Yeah. And then if you promote from there, you go to the lieutenant. That's the guy front seat passenger. You know, he oversees the calls. Your entire career until you're a chief, you literally go on the same calls. Like, whereas nursing, like let's say you are a pediatric oncologist in nursing, and you're like, man, I'm burnt. I'm gonna go do home health. Yeah. Or I'm gonna do you've got other avenues of nursing. Where in the fire service we don't. It's all just fire service. Yeah. You know, whereas nurses, they can change their type of nursing they're involved in. We don't have that. But
they can do like different things.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the nice things about that career. You know, and I think that probably helps them to a degree. They're like, dude, I'm burnt on sick kids. Yeah. I want to go work with, I just want to work in a
Let me go work
office
with pregnant people and new kids.
Yeah. You know, so my stepmother passed away last Mother's Day. And I went in and was there with my stepmom and my dad, and was being a patient advocate for her, like, you know, helping them ask questions and figure stuff out. And the critical care nurse, this is so telling of the worlds that healthcare and first responders and stuff deal with. she's sitting there explaining to me all these end of life measures and what's going on with my step grandmother. And then I walk past her like 5 minutes later. She's out in the hallway arguing with her kid. She's like, "No, do your algebra homework. So she's sitting here telling me about, hey, your step grandmother, she's going to die in the next 48 hours.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, she's arguing with her fucking kid about doing his homework.
I mean. Like
it's
the back and forth, like the on and off switch, you know what I mean? And like as an empath, that's like impossible to have. I don't have an on and off switch. Like he gets mad at me because like he says that I'm too nice to people. You know what I mean? Like I'm way too nice. And I'm too nice because I know what it does to someone when you're not nice. You know what I mean? And like me being nice takes zero effort. Doesn't cost me any money. It doesn't take my time. Like it drains me a little bit, but I'm at the point in my life where I'm able to upkeep my empathic tendencies. I used to not be able to do that. I used to deplete myself for other people. I would lose sleep. I would spend the money. I would overextend. I would bear and boggle myself down for other people. And I'm better at like, navigating it, but it's still something that I will always do because it's just how I am. This old man stops us in Publix and wants to talk about how he saw Sublime back in the day and wants to reminisce on the good times with me. I'll sit there in the kale aisle and listen to you. Right. And he's just sitting there and we're just looking at lettuce and he's like going on and on and on. And it's like, fuck, dude, he's alone. Like if he needs somebody to talk to, like, dude, talk. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Because it's like, this world is so ugly and nasty and cruel and terrible. If it takes me 10 minutes at Publix to make somebody's day, if it makes them want to live another day,
that's too nice.
I'm good. Like
for me, like I guess like being a man and like I've always just been like tall and talked well, and so like nobody ever gave me a leash, bro. Nobody was ever like, oh, Jake's oppressed, we need to like give Jake attention. So I always had to like fight for like attention and like and like I'm not like trying to play that card, but like girls, like if you're fucking lonely, if a girl's lonely, she can just go walk through a Publix and like an old dude's gonna be like, hey, how are you? You know what I mean? So like, for me, anytime I ever see something like that, it always like strikes me as just a weird way to like, because like let's say that I get old and I fall off and like, I'm like an old.
But it also has to do with being approachable. I'm too approachable.
I personally, this is crazy, but like if I sat down with that old dude that was at Publix and me and him had a conversation, he was like, yeah, man, I don't get anybody to talk to me. And I'm like, well, if you've ever worked in like, you definitely understand some guy that just has nothing going on and he's wasting your time.
Wasting my time, bro.
Because he's like, he doesn't have anybody to talk to. So he just wants to talk about the news or whatever with somebody.
Right.
For me though, like personally, just being the human man that I am, if I ever got to that point, I'm 50 years old, everybody checked out on me, all my friends think I'm lame, my kids have moved away, and nobody wants to hang out with me, I'm going to go build value somewhere else. I'm literally just going to, like, I'll go walk into a chess hall at a fucking, like, a random convention center, and I'm going to get good at chess so these kids want to talk to me. And and I'm never going to, like, force myself into a hole that I don't.
I'll pull up to an American Legion. I really don't give a shit.
I'm not saying that don't be nice and give people grace. I'm just saying that he's trying to shove a square peg into a circle hole and you're letting him do it. Like, at least, like, value me, too. Like, I understand you want to talk, but, like, let me fucking converse with you, too.
Well, maybe some of that is, like, her jujitsu. She's like, if I'm not nice right now, I'm going to kill this motherfucker. Maybe that's her, But I'm with you, though, man. Like, some people, they want to talk to you, and you're like, yeah, cool. I'm at the age now, though, where I'll be nice, but, bro, I'm gonna fucking find it out on this conversation.
I'm the type of person,
I can't have you sucking my fucking time. I got shit to do.
If I'm walking through the street, like, I will buy the mixtape, I will buy the R, I will buy the little the glass rose, like whatever it is that you have, I'll buy it. Like, I feel bad. Like, I have this like old.
Don't buy the glass rose.
Yeah, right.
I told you about the glass rose, right?
You told me about the glass rose.
It's a fucking crack stem, dude.
The glass rose.
Yeah, those are for crackheads.
But listen.
See,
yeah, I had no idea. Like, she literally has them in a basket. I'll take 3. Like, whatever you need. Like, I really don't give a shit. And like, I was literally I was walking, and there was this random guy. He looked a fucking mess, like a complete mess. And he has all these like little mixtapes in this little basket thing. They're Russian mixtapes. God knows what it is.
No one even has a fucking tape player anymore, bro.
it's literally like a picture of like these scary guys like standing outside in the dark, and he goes $10. It's a mixtape. I'm like, give me 3. I mean, like,
Oh, shit,
I
man.
feel bad. I was selling my AirPods. Like, I'm terrible. I was selling my AirPods on Facebook Marketplace, right? I'm selling these AirPods for like $40. Maybe it was 30. I don't even remember how much I was selling them for. This kid hits me up and is like, hey, I can come meet you. Can I buy the AirPods? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I go meet him. It's a fucking like 17-year-old, or no, I was buying AirPods. Excuse me. I was buying the AirPods from him. He was selling them. He comes and meets me, right? And they're brand, like, they look good. I don't care if they're knockoff. I really couldn't give a shit. And he was selling them for $40. So I'm like, okay. He rides his bike up. He meets me. He had to like ride his bike like 2 miles. So
shit.
I didn't have to go out of my way in my vehicle. He's like, rides his bike and he's like, yeah, I'm just trying to save up for a car. I'm trying to get a truck. So like, here are the AirPods. He sold. I gave him $100 because I felt terrible.
Bro,
I
yeah,
felt so
yeah.
bad. I'm like, literally, what
I'll
car
give
do
the
you
bitch
want?
20. Be like, oh,
Yeah.
down 20.
I'm like, here's my phone, here's my vape, here's my car keys, take whatever you want. Cause he was like so sweet and nice. And I'm like, he's just trying to sell the AirPods. Like,
That's funny.
and then I'm still talking about him.
Sweet and nice too.
Eric, I'm literally still talking about him. This was 5 years ago.
Shit.
I'll never forget him for the rest of my life. Like, I hope you got the truck. if
Bro,
you're
he's out
watching.
there. He's like, bro, fucking. He took his bike in the truck, came and met
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Fucking pedaled 10 feet
Yeah.
over.
Hopefully,
Sold you some
yeah.
$2 Temu AirPods.
right. I still have them.
You still talking about that day too?
Yeah, he's like, that was some good weed I got from that girl.
This is high rise in Miami, like, bro, I came up off them AirPods.
Yeah, seriously. No, literally. And they ended up not being real AirPods. But I mean, I still have them to this day. They
That's
work,
it.
you know, whatever. I hope you got the truck or whatever you need from it.
That's
That's
funny.
like, it's terrible. I'm so
He's in a
empathetic.
Tesla truck.
Yeah, he's probably in a Cybertruck. Like,
Yeah.
literally, he's like touring with Jewish Jet. Like, it's a Jewish money lesson. And he's like literally with him.
That memory will live forever.
Do you know?
We were there.
You were
Fucking
there.
the B-side retro, man. I remember I was like, hey man, don't drop the fucking mic.
It's so fun. And this is the thing.
Yeah.
Literally, he's famous. Like,
Oh, is he really?
he's literally famous, Eric.
What?
What am I doing wrong?
He's like,
He's going on tour.
he met like a big YouTuber.
Yeah.
Like,
What am I doing
dude.
wrong?
He gave, first of all, he gave away $1,000 in a giveaway.
Yeah.
And then he's doing another one. He's giving away a car.
Yes.
For clout.
He's the Jewish Mr. Beast.
And then
Like,
people
what?
started saying he was a scammer and that he wasn't going to do it, and then he like posted the screenshots of
Yeah.
sending somebody $1,000 on Cash App.
Yeah. I'm like, I mean, what the
he's
fuck am I
smart.
doing wrong?
He's one of these new age kids that like knows what to do with social media, and he like really
Yeah.
knows how to like get a cult following. And I mean, honestly, he's not stupid. Like he
No.
He's not. Yeah, I guess he's not.
He has a
Yeah,
very-
shout
You're
out to
chasing
him. I
that
mean,
forever.
we're all over there doing comedy for fucking 3 years now, burnt out, want to
Oh, yeah.
die.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
over here doing the same stupid fucking
He
jokes.
does 120 seconds of his freestyle. Remember?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll
Now he's
never
famous.
forget him as long
Not
as
even
I
fair,
live.
man.
Yeah, if you know it's a Jewish money lesson, come and get your bread up. Better start investing. If you know who we're talking about, shout out. Come on the pod. We'd love to
Yeah, yeah.
have
Fucking
you.
send us some money, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Instagram is Florida Jit.
yeah, Florida Jet.
Yeah.
If you're listening, Florida
Yeah.
Jet, send us some cash.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll let
really-
everybody know it was real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're strapped for cash.
Yeah, we'll
at
fucking
this
take it to
point.
Red Leopard, throwing on some strippers.
He's like
Right.
opening Madison Square Garden. We're gonna be like, I remember when that kid came and freestyled for 7 of us.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
yeah,
And like we were all standing there and we were just like, what is happening? Like what is going on?
And he just left.
Yeah. And then he just left.
He was like, and we asked him. We
And now
were
he's, like,
"Why?"
in
We were
Miami in a
"How'd you do
pound."
that?" He was like, oh, I'm on a tour right now. And we were like, what?
The B-side retro, bro.
B-Side Retro was on
It
his
was
tour
on the
dates.
tour.
Eric.
Yeah.
Like, and how are you gonna act like it's on your tour and you pull up 10 minutes
And no one knows you.
Yeah.
You do your little thing, drop the mic, and dip.
Bro, fake it till you make it, right?
That's the epitome of it. Faking it until you make it.
Bro,
He's
there's
literally
something said
like,
about that, man.
well, I mean, I just want to know, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do? What song do I need to come up with? Like, at this point, OnlyFans doesn't sound that bad. Like, I'm sick of it. I'm really sick of it.
Yeah, and I feel you. There's part of me that I'm like, I don't want to chase it, man. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
want to fucking chase it. Like, and we talked about this last time, but I didn't think I'd be here at this point.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
so every time I get bummed and shit, I'm like, oh, bro, what are you doing? Then I'm
I
like,
feel
hey,
the same
man,
way.
you never thought you were going to be, look where you are now with it.
Yeah.
You didn't think you'd be doing it.
Yeah, that's
I-
exactly how I feel too. Like, even though it's like not really anything, I still have a job. I'm still,
Yeah.
on the grind, but it's like I really wouldn't be this far.
Who knows where it's going to take you?
Yeah, I wouldn't be this far if it wasn't for that. Like,
Like Jake, you were just talking about finding value in other stuff in life, and I know you like to bust my chops about my age and shit. Rightfully so, because I would too if I was you. And I got into this later. I always wanted to do comedy. Like I grew up watching comedy, everybody says that shit, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I legit grew up fucking on comedy. Like when I was in
Not everybody says that though. A lot of people didn't grow up watching comedy. There's a lot of people that don't know.
So I would come home from school, and this was in high school. There was the half-hour comedy hour. It was on MTV, and they were like 5, 6, and I would fucking watch that shit religiously. Dude, my dad as a kid would rent like VHS.
You had to go watch the Shakespeare plays in person.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I just always loved watching stand-up.
Yeah.
And being a goofy person, that's kind of how you connect with people. Is like,
of course.
Make them laugh. But
yeah.
The fire service kind of is what kept me out of it. I was like, because I was afraid I'd lose my job. I was afraid I'd say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But then I got to a point where I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going to fucking lose my job.
Yeah. I really don't give a shit if I do. At this point.
Part of that's too is like, oh, you've got other options. You know? But, and now I'm so far along. But yeah, but now part of it, like finding value is like, with my daughter getting older. Now I got the time to get out there and do it.
Definitely.
And I enjoy it. Melissa actually wanted to encourage me the first time I went. And so... Yeah.
That's always good to have people encourage you because I think that's like why I started it too. Is like a bunch of my friends were like encouraging me to do it. I would have never done it otherwise. I would have been way too scared.
Dude, so much happens when it's supposed to happen. Like I would have loved this to happen fucking years ago, but it didn't. It wasn't how it was supposed to play out, and here it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all right. It's all right.
Everything literally happens for a reason.
It fucking does, man.
Yeah.
It's you. The more years you get behind you, the more you look back and you're like, that is weird. How that happened. Yeah,
very weird.
Where it's played out. And, and I'm not religious, but there's no other explanation other than it was fucking meant to be that fucking way.
100%. Like just life, how everything like plays out. And I was telling him like we refer to this like the Austin trip. Like that was just like the prime example of like us going to Austin. Like there was hundreds of things that had to like fall exactly the way that it was supposed to. Like even just looking at like the last time my birthday was on a Monday was like years ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like for the years to line up for my birthday to be on this Monday, this specific time, like comedy at this point, me meeting him, like the money that we got to be able to buy the stuff. Like,
when you look at things that you do in your life or like you look at plans that you have, some things are like undeterrable. Like you look at it and you're like, everything could fuck up and we're still going to do that.
Yeah.
Fragile is the word that I will call the Austin trip. It was like every single thing that we needed to get done.
was like on the thread.
Like in the balance. Everything we did. The rental car got fucked up. Where we were staying was last minute. The fucking money situation, the fucking me training, her getting on, the day of her birthday, our flights working out that way. Like, I mean, it was like every single part of it was like, fuck, is that going to work? Fuck, is that going to work? Fuck, is that going to work? It was like,
we were like, let's just hope. Like
the fact that once we touched down, there was not a single hiccup. I mean, the first minute that we were there.
Other than rental cars, because fuck rental car places. But I'll say it for the rest of my life. But
at the time that it was happening and during the trip, I was really upset. But then I look back on it now and it's like, I know millionaires with fucking $100,000 lines of credit that have problems with fucking rental cars. It's not. It's not because I'm a 26-year-old fucking kid. You know, it's because they suck.
It was just a disaster.
We got there at 4:00 in the afternoon on a Monday when everyone's getting rental cars and it's over the end of the day. Like it was a bad kind of fucking call.
Hey, but it worked out. We got it done.
And then the fact of the matter is that the weeks leading up to it were so fragile that once we get there and it starts actually unfolding, you're like, oh, like. This was like a shaky bridge, but now that we're at the bridge, we're just running across that bridge.
Yeah.
And
it was so funny because we're like staying with one of his friends that he hasn't seen in like forever, right? By the time we get to their house, they're all asleep. So we're going into this stranger's house that we don't know. He knows, but like I don't know at all.
A creepy mansion in the middle of the
hill. Creepy mansion. Like we literally are walking in. We're having to be quiet. We have to go upstairs into the child's bathroom to take a shower with in this stranger person's house. So they have like
context. What it was.
So
my autism wouldn't allow me to do that shit, bro. I'm gonna sleep in the car till the morning, man. And when they wake up,
they have this big ass dog that's like literally stomping down the steps, and we're like. And it was the funniest thing because it's like, what in the fuck are we doing?
So
like,
because for context, what was supposed to happen is we were supposed to get to Austin, get the rental car right away, go to their house, drop our shit off, and then go back to what we were doing, right? But the rental car was such a nightmare, we never got to do the drop off. So we're just like,
it's like 11 o'clock at night.
Plans. We got to go to this show and do all this shit, and then we'll be there tonight. Because the plan was get there at like 2 or 3, check in with him, hey, drop our bags
meet,
off. And then if we come in at midnight, it's no big deal because we already dropped all of our shit off and we know exactly what's going on. Nah, dude.
I hadn't spoken a word.
The rental car got fucked up. We're walking in, just got off a plane a few hours ago.
Yeah.
I'm tired as fuck. We're in a different state. We just had all the stress from the rental car. We just meet Cam Patterson and a bunch of these famous comics, and we went to this show. Literally, like, the whole fucking a week's worth of shit happened in one day. And then we get there. We're in a back neighborhood in West Austin. Big $1 million houses. Creepy old back road.
Literally.
We get to his house, and it's fucking massive. I thought he lived in like
huge.
a normal house.
Were you like, fuck, is this really the right house? Are we
I
at the
know.
fucking right house?
Exactly.
We might
That's
just be,
the other
I'm gonna
thing.
get shot. I'm gonna
Yeah,
fucking get
yeah,
shot.
and
dude.
we're like, are we sure we're supposed to be staying here? Like, we go in the bathroom and it's like Paw Patrol, fucking like a Paw Patrol shower curtain, and I'm like,
oh, there's fucking kids involved now.
Dude, I walk in and I see a fucking.
We see the child's bedroom and we like shine a light and I'm like, is he in there? And Jake's like, I don't know. And I'm like, look at the top bunk.
I'd be like,
And
look
Jake-
for some fucking mail. See if there's fucking name on something, dude.
We're like looking for the child and we're like, bro.
Opens his big ass Labrador, which I didn't know was nice. He didn't even tell me he had a dog.
No, it's like,
not one mention of a dog.
Yeah.
His dog's looking at you like, man, he didn't even tell me he had a friend coming over.
His dog's pissing all over the place.
The dog's pissing all over the place.
excited.
Oh, bro, so it's getting worse.
Pissing everywhere.
So I don't even know if I'm in the right house or not. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go upstairs and see what's going on. I go upstairs and I see like a grappling dummy. I'm like, we're good.
Oh, shit.
We're like, where are all the pictures on the wall? Like, make sure we have the right family.
funny,
Like,
yeah.
And then like Felix, shout out, we love Felix. And literally, it was like the most, and it was so funny and so out of place. And it was just like it was such a vibe, and like they were so cool and nice, thank God. But like it was the epitome of everything happens the way that it's supposed to. The universe will take care of you. Like it was insane.
Dude, the day I met my fucking wife, my buddy stopped by. He's like, hey, man, let's go up to Breakers. And I'm like, man, fuck it.
This is the day you met Melissa?
Yeah, and then I'm like,
Okay.
I would never in 1,000 fucking years go up there on that day. And
Island Breakers? Like the pool?
Up in New Smyrna. It was actually on Flagler Avenue. And I wasn't even drinking in my butt at the time. Because I would go through bouts where I wouldn't fucking drink. And I just went up with him and I ended up meeting Melissa. I used to not call girls. Like, that was my thing. I would give them my number, and she's like, "Oh, I don't call guys." I'm like, all right, well, fucking, it's nice to meet you.
I'm not gonna call you.
Dude, I always had this fear of being the guy that was like calling, and the chick's like, "Tell him I'm gone." And I never wanted to fucking be that guy because I was probably always that guy.
Yeah.
You just got to the point where I was like, you know what, dude, fucking, you call me, man.
Yeah.
And fucking just so many things fucking played out.
Yeah, like you had to be there at the right time,
Right,
and like
Yeah, dude, I remember the day my daughter
love
was
Melissa.
conceived, man. Like, cause
you remember the day.
I swear on my
He said,
life,
I remember it clearly.
you know, the day, because like her and I,
Really?
we never did it that kind of time of day, and like a month later, she's
It's like it was 1:32 p.m.
bro.
on a Wednesday.
dude, a month later, I hear her. It was New Year's Eve. She screams like bloody murder in the fucking bathroom, and I'm like,
oh,
if it's a fucking roach, you got to get that bitch. I'm like, because she'll scream bloody murder over her.
so it's a
I'm like,
parasite.
I don't
of
give a
some kind.
fuck. I'm not coming to kill a roach. And she's like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, shit. Oh, we're doing this.
Oh my god, that's so scary.
And we were trying-ish, but yeah. It was but
it's
I'm
like all of a sudden it's real.
It was
like
real,
that's so
But
crazy.
shit plays out like it's fucking
exactly the way that it's supposed to. Yeah, and now she's making you cry,
fucking
ruining your
goddamn.
life.
I was just thinking about
Both of them, like
because you guys are a lot younger than I am, and like you're talking about your trip to Austin, and I was thinking about my like daughter yesterday, and dude, my one fucking piece of advice, man, I could just fucking do it, man.
Yeah.
Anything. Because life is so short, and we always make constraints on shit, whether it's time or it's money or this. Just none of that fucking matters when it's all said and done and 20 years later.
Yeah.
If you don't fucking do it, it never happens. And then all you got is like, shit, I wish I would have.
That's
You know what I mean? Just fucking do
round
it,
of
man.
applause.
No,
that is
for real,
so
man.
true.
That's probably
like,
one of my biggest, dude, just fucking do it.
yeah, that's like the best. That's the best advice
You
to
can't
give.
take shit with you. You can't take money.
Yeah.
You can't take fucking anything with you.
Yeah.
We were literally just talking about this morning.
Yeah.
Literally, I went to an MMA fight yesterday, and like all my boys fight. Like if you look at the pictures of the team, like because there's a huge jiu-jitsu team.
Shout out Garbo. Shout out Jordan Garcia. Y'all killed.
There's a huge jiu-jitsu team at our gym, but there's only probably like 10 core MMA guys. And out of all of the MMA guys, if you look at all of the pictures, I'm the only one who doesn't fight. I'm the only hobbyist MMA fighter at my gym. Like, most of the guys either only train jiu-jitsu because they're fucking nerds, and I hope you can hear me.
And Jake's just saying like he
That
just
was
wants
Jake,
to do
not
it.
me, you jiu-jitsu trainers. Don't tell me.
Yeah.
I
Eric's like, please, not Latif.
I was just I was like, I'm not like talking shit or like whatever, but I've seen some of the guys that fight heavyweight. I've talked to like the guys at my gym, and I'm like, you know, just throwing the idea out there. Oh, maybe I'll take a fight every once, or I'll take a fight once. And they're always like, yeah, bro, do it. And I was just telling her, like, I'd be fucking stupid if I was 50 years old and was like, man, I really should have. Like,
if you want to do it,
just do it once.
Yeah.
If you lose, you might not have a girlfriend anymore, but I mean, you'll.
If I do go,
That's when he's gonna really need you, man. Put a stake on that eye. Where are you going?
I'm like, I'm fucking out of here.
If I know I'm gonna lose, I'm really gonna burn the bridge. I'm gonna look over at him and like look at her and be like, please stop! Put my hands up and like really fucking give her that.
Let me at him. Yeah, no, seriously.
I should.
You just gotta do it. You gotta fucking do it. You gotta live the life. I refuse to die unfulfilled, and I think that's the best. That's the best thing.
You just gotta do it.
Yeah. So what do you have going on? Shout out your shows. You got anything? Weed line.
I got shit going on.
Clothing company. If you want this really cool.
Yes, weedline.com. That's
all the Eric's marketing is on fleek now. Every comic and their mother has some type of hat, shirt. They be wearing it too. Yeah, they be repping the weed line. Yeah, definitely.
And
I wore it last night to the
comedy stuff. dirtypelicanproductions.com.
Dirty Pelican.
Yeah, and then that's got all the Brevard comedy stuff. Everybody's stuff's on there.
Yeah,
yeah. I got to put Mojitos back on there now. Preach got that back.
Yep.
And then my fucking comedy website's eecomedy.com.
Hell
There's
yeah.
a calendar on there. It's pretty empty, but
anyways, if any bookers are watching this.
Yeah, just stop me. I'm bookable.
Yeah.
Holla.
Sounds good. Well, thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Awesome.
Bye.
Bye, bitches.
Watermelon goblin size of King Kong. Watermelon goblin size of King Kong. Glasses shattering, million fractions on my face. I can't seem to put them back together in one place. Fractured all my fingers, swollen tongue is out of taste. Cut down all my trees, I'm catching monsters by the lake. I hope I'm not wrong. I hope I'm not wrong.